so hamstring hip flexor advanced stretches for post exercising. We are moving to the advanced, so please make sure that you are through with your beginners and intermediate, because you need to make sure you understand what you're supposed to be activating, and I develop a little bit more in detail in the other videos, okay? So if you've been doing the activations of the same, the advanced activations, the stretches are exactly the same, okay? So your first stretch, remember that you can use your blocks if necessary, is your pyramid stretch. So it's more hip, hamstring focus, obviously it's hip. It's more hamstring focus here because we stretch the front leg. So if you have right leg forward, left leg back like I have now, we want to really roll that right hip back and that left hip forward. One little tip as well, obviously not keeping the knee locked in, is to imagine that your right foot and left foot want to meet. So there is a slight pull into, a slight, not too much, yeah, but a slight pull towards each other. So you should really feel the back of the thigh kind of slightly activating here. And also make sure that you don't round the back, yeah? We try and focus on the hinge that we've been talking about. So we stretch the back of the leg and not the lower back, okay? We don't compress the lower back, we stretch the back of the leg and therefore the hamstring. So your next stretch will be a low lunge. So from your pyramid, we're going to low lunge, yeah? So nice and easy. Option to take ourselves into a nice little push, and then if you feel, be careful that your kneecap is not pushing down the mat, but you are on top of the kneecap. You can see here. You can also start working into your quad stretch here, but try and not lose your hip flexor stretch at the same time. Yeah, so we don't want to lose the hip flexion, yeah, the hip extension here. So we don't want to lose the hip flexor stretch. That's the whole point. If you want to stretch on top your quad, make sure you keep your hips square and that you keep lowering them down. You also don't want to dump into the lower back. You want to try and keep that tailbone slightly tucked under, okay? And your last stretch will be your standing split. So two options here to focus on standing split. First one, again, we focus on both posterior chin, which means we keep the hip square here. So this is my standing split with the hip square. And then with the hip open, you can start also grabbing the back of the leg if you are quite flexible. Yes. You can also do a little modification if you want. I don't know if I have it today in me. Yeah, is to grab, yeah. And you also stretch a little bit more into the hip flexor and your quad. But this one is more for the play. I hope you enjoy the stretches. Please make sure you do them with the right alignment and level of activation. So 50 activation, 50 stretch. And also make sure that you don't hyperextend your knee, especially if you're hypermobile. If you're hypermobile, focus more on activating than stretching, and do not hyperextend your knees. We know we don't really tend to lock the knees because we pull on the ligaments. Yeah, we try and keep the knees soft, and we actually go into a bit more the belly of the muscle. All right, I will see you in the next video. Bye.